Hi everybody, and welcome to our lunchtime meditations that we do every Friday here at noon Central Time. And today we're going to be focusing our meditation on cultivating resilience in difficult times. I think that's something we can all agree that is needed right now is resilience, being able to persevere, not give up, bounce back when things aren't going well. And so whether your concerns today are at the global level, the national level, or the more personal level, we all can identify difficulties in our lives that, can really break us. And especially the more overwhelmed or anxious or depressed we get, we tend to get more rigid. We tend to hold on to anxious or depressed beliefs more firmly, and we lose the ability to just be with whatever is and to respond to it. We often might withdraw into ourselves, give up. We might get very reactive and just respond, coping in the best way we can just to make ourselves feel better, but not really living a life that's very reflective, where we're able to just really be with and accept whatever's here and intelligently reflect on what is a wise response to our situation. And so what's needed in terms of building resilience is a psychological flexibility, an ability to see and be with everything that's here, and to reflect on what really matters to us and let deeper principles guide our actions. And we want to think in terms of imagery. Sometimes it can be helpful to have something like that. I like to think of trees. Often trees I think of as very resilient. They're often very strong, and yet they are flexible. So trees need to be able to bend in the storms or the wind. If they didn't have that ability to bend, be a little bit flexible, they're more likely to snap in a storm. And yet there's a real strength to them as well. And I think it's important to think about how trees also keep in mind what really matters to them for their life is to keep growing upward, to keep searching for light. And so sometimes trees take on really interesting shapes because they're trying to bend toward what really matters to them, the light, and yet they keep going, and they don't just give up and lie down whenever difficulties happen. So, and I want to just pause and say hello. I see some friends here, Elisa and Mark. So thank you all for joining today. And I want us to do a meditation that's actually drawn from acceptance and commitment therapy, where we're really working on that psychological flexibility of opening up to whatever's here, and we are coming back to and reflecting on our core values and what really matters to us to help guide us in difficult times. So I will invite us all to take our meditation seat at this time, closing the eyes or just gazing at a spot ahead of us, setting our intention to be present now, to this moment, to whatever is here, grounding ourselves, perhaps our feet into the floor, grounding into the seat if we are sitting down right now. And as we begin this meditation, it can be especially useful to use this meditation when we are experiencing a difficulty. So I'd like to invite everyone to bring something up that they might use to consider today in meditation. Nothing too traumatic or overwhelming, but something that does feel like a difficulty for you. It could be personal or larger than that, something more at the societal level, but something that brings up some difficulty, stirs up some emotion that you'd like to have greater resilience in dealing with. And so just keeping that in the background, we'll come back to that in just a moment and be with that experience. And let's direct our attention at this time to the breath. And the first part of this meditation is simply slowing down, slowing the breath down. And it doesn't matter how long, but perhaps breathing in as slow as is comfortable for you, and then breathing out for twice as long as you breathe in. And just allowing that attention to follow the entire flow of the breath in and out of the body. Slowing things down, allowing the nervous system to reset, come back to a state of calm. Also developing that ability to attend to the breath and the body, slowing the mind down. So again, just following the flow of this slowed breath. And now letting the breath resume its usual rhythm and continuing to follow the breath, but also now bringing to mind that difficulty that I mentioned at the beginning of the meditation, something you'd like to bring a greater resilience to. Bringing that to mind and noticing what's alive in the body right now. So noticing any difficult sensations, tension or tightness in the body. Noticing any thoughts that arise, any emotions that arise. Just noticing what is here, what shows up when we reflect on our difficulty. And as attention wanders, just bringing it back to what's present inside of you right now. Noticing if thoughts or worry, thoughts, negative beliefs toward the self or others. Noticing if emotions feel pleasant or unpleasant. Maybe even naming the specific emotion if that's possible. Noticing and naming the physical sensations that are present in the body right now. And it doesn't take long when we're considering a difficulty for emotions and thoughts to hijack the mind, for the mind and the attention to wander off. So as you notice that happening, just simply bringing attention back to this moment, to current thoughts, sensations in the body, and in emotions. Just noticing and labeling. The labeling is one way to start to bring a little space around each of these different experiences in our attention. Simply noticing and naming. And as you notice particular areas of difficulty or stuckness, beginning to bring some openness around that difficulty, perhaps putting a hand on that area of the body. If you feel tightness, for example, in the chest, perhaps bringing a hand there. Perhaps even bringing a breath, envisioning your breath flowing to an area of the body where you're feeling an emotion or physical discomfort. Or perhaps if the mind is busy with difficult sensations, with difficult thoughts, even envisioning a breath going to the brain or wherever you sense that thought showing up. And this is a really important piece of what helps us cultivate that psychological flexibility, that ability to be with whatever is here, is holding these difficult experiences in this larger space, the space that includes breath. The space that includes an attitude of curiosity, of gentleness, perhaps even of kindness toward whatever is arising in our attention, in this whole field of awareness. This gives us the capacity to be with maybe some difficult awareness or insights about ourselves or others, or the gravity of a situation. It strengthens us even while allowing us to be flexible. And now I'd like us to turn our attention to our values in this moment. And as we consider this difficult experience, also thinking about how you would like to respond in this difficulty. What really matters to you? What's a really important value you'd like to help guide your decision making and your response to whatever this difficulty is? It could be anything, values around friendship, around caring for others, about remaining calm, compassionate. Might be values around justice, standing up for yourself or someone else. Values around generosity. Values around self-care. And you might even reflect on, have there been other similar difficulties and how you responded there? Was there a time you were able to live out of an important value? Could that give you some sense of how you might want to respond in this moment? So just sitting with how it feels to stay connected and grounded with whatever important value might help guide your decision making, might increase resilience, the ability to be with and persevere through a difficult experience or situation where it might be easy to turn away, to give up, to get just really reactive, to dissociate. Just being with and reflecting on that value. Maybe even envisioning how you might like to respond. Letting your values guide you. And now letting all of that go and just resting here for a moment. Resting in the breath. Following the breath one more time all the way in and out of the body. Resting in maybe this larger space of awareness. And now as we come to the end of the meditation, listening for the sound of the bell. Thank you all for joining me and holding space with me and participating in our meditation this Friday. And I hope to see you all this time next Friday for our lunchtime meditation. Thanks.